how did you manage after Hamilton ends, not running after what Hamilton was?
I wrote a song about it. It's a nice segue to my album, Who I Really Am. I wrote a song about it. It's called Enough. It really is just that thing, and it's not about necessarily Hamilton, but it is about Hamilton. It's about the idea that we are always feeling like what we're doing is not enough, and it's just like a voracious appetite for ambition. And the thing about ambition is that it's inherent in ambition is dissatisfaction. Like you have to be a little like if you were not, and if you couldn't see what could be better, then you would not be ambitious. Ambition is about, like, no matter what you have, dreaming of something more.
Bigger.
So inherent it is a bit of dissatisfaction. So my prayer has always been, before anyone had hired me to do anything, how can I be ambitious and also be grateful for what I have?
So we tell the stories to lift each other, give hope to push us further, and encourage one another.
Renee Elise Goldsberry is a Grammy and Tony winner and an Emmy-nominated actress. She is a mother of two and a wife to her husband Alexis. You may know her from Hamilton and Broadway hits like Rent and The Color Purple, in shows like One Life to Live, The Good Wife, and Girls 5 Ever. Now she's being wonderfully open as she shares her new album, her documentary, Satisfied, streaming November 4th, and her upcoming Netflix film, House of Dynamite. Hello, I'm Derick Monroe, and you are tuned in to another episode of Behind the Scenes Beauty. Today I have with me, she is a Emmy nominee, she is a Tony Award winner, she is a Grammy Award winner, she is a songwriter, she's an actress, a movie star, a Broadway star. She's everything. She's a mother, a wife. She is every woman. She's Renee Elise Goldsberry. Hello.
Oh my God, Derick. Thank you for having me on your show. I've been trying to get on this show for you. I don't know. What did I do that I finally got on here?
Girl, you showed up. You showed up. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited.
You have a lot
to be
going
here.
on right now.
I do.
I feel like you have decided to share some art that is so personal to you right now. You have the album out, Satisfied. You have the documentary out, which I was in the gym and I literally was crying.
I had two big dreams when I was little: to be a mother and to have a career as a singer and an actor. Until I grew up, and it felt like striving for one threatened the other.
Okay, so I started on the treadmill, and I normally do 45 minutes on the treadmill, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop it in the middle, and I'm going to watch the rest when I get home. And I said, nope, today is just going to be a complete cardio day, and I went on a whole nother thing, and I'm literally glad that I was over there in the corner by myself because there were so many parts of it that made me cry. It made me feel so blessed to know you, to know your family, to know your husband, It was, I can't wait for people to be able to watch it because it was amazing. And I'm not saying it because I know you. I'm not saying it for this podcast. If I was a person that did not know who you were personally, I would be so amazed. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going on a tangent.
No, I'm soaking it in. Don't stop.
The fight of trying to make sure that you are being present for your dreams, but also having the kids and being there for your husband. You feel that stress. You feel that pain. And to have your husband tell you.
He's so amazing.
It's like.
Go for it. We all thrive.
And don't even, I'm mad if you're even thinking about being here in your mind because I want you to be there full stop.
Yeah. If you're away from us and not happy about it, then this is a waste. So go. And if you're not going to be happy, come home.
Yes.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I always like to start off with people's journeys and where they start off. And, you know, I actually was a fan of yours way before I even knew you personally.
Really?
Yeah, I was a fan of yours because I grew up in a household where we watched soap opera.
Yes.
So I was very much so aware of you as being Evangeline Williamson on One Life to Live. And you want to know why? Because that was in a time when we did not have a lot of black representation.
Yeah.
And you and Tika Sumpter, first of all, were drop dead gorgeous on there. And you were a lawyer, and you were that girl.
And already an older sister,
yes,
right?
Yes, but you. And your hair was beautiful. It had body as a hairstyle. You had the body. They was taking care of you. It was you were, so I already was a fan. I loved your character on there. So to later be able to get to know you, it was very special to me.
I love that I came up on soap operas. I mean, I came up in the theater, but I came up on soap operas. It was like the greatest way to learn ever because it's so fast.
Yes.
They shoot so fast, and you have to look good.
Yes.
And you have to trust that you're going to be looking good while you're doing whatever crazy thing they have your character doing that week, whether I'm going blind,
right?
Whether I'm trying to save everybody from a serial killer, or I'm in a love triangle with John and Natalie, like whatever it is. I remember when I got that job, I thought, this could be bad as a black woman on a show. I have seen people get on that show and not be written for.
Yeah.
So your dream comes true to be. I grew up watching soap operas too, Garrett. I did
so
too.
You was like,
I used to watch One Life to Live.
Okay, yeah. So
oh
Vicky,
God.
you was happy to finally meet Vicky.
When I finally met Vicky,
Erica Slazak.
I was trying not to call her Vicky by accident on the set. One of my girlfriends used to say, Renee, you're messing up my show when you up in Vicky's house.
Okay.
Because I need to believe that it's real. I'm up in there watching Vicky's house, and then you walk through.
Then you show up, and then I don't think it's real no more.
Yeah, but anyway, so I was a fan as well, and then I was concerned because I know a lot of black actresses or actors get on those shows, and then they're not necessarily written for.
Gotcha.
So I was a little worried at that time.
They're the accessories.
And it's not like an intentional exclusion. It is the fact that the formula for soap operas was that if you come on as an actor and they like you, they will make you related to the main family.
Yeah.
They will find out that you're the long lost Todd or you're the long lost child. Asa Buchanan had a child at such and such.
Yes.
And now her name is Nat. Like or you're the Jessica that but you're recast to look differently. Like that's what they do with you when they like you. And they didn't know how to do, for some reason.
Yeah.
They didn't want to admit that Asa Buchanan might have had a black daughter.
Right.
So you have to basically service the family.
Yeah.
In ways that they're very responsible with. Like you can be the lawyer or the doctor or the judge or the police detective. Like now you can go watch your soap operas.
Right.
And you'll see the black people on the shows are doing something in the world, but they're not related to the main family. And the show is about the main family.
Yeah.
So you can kind of be like siloed off and you only get paid on soap operas by how many episodes you're in.
Oh, really?
So there were literally actors on our show who were on big famous soap operas, but they couldn't afford rent in New York City, so they would like sneak and live in their dressing room. They would like hide when the security guard was locking up the building, so that they could, because you couldn't afford to pay a rent if they didn't write for your character. You're in a 4-year contract, and it feels dangerous. Because it could be a gilded cage because you can't afford to pay your bills if they don't write for you, but they could just use you to kind of walk you across screen every once in a while to say something smart and good. So I was a little worried about that happening, and by the grace of God, I got thrown into a love triangle.
Yes.
With John McBain and Natalie Buchanan. And they only, do you remember that?
Wait a minute, because who was your sister dated Christian? Wait a minute. Who Christian? But you?
Oh, that was
Antonio.
later. Yeah, that was.
That
was later.
I remember you with Antonio Vega.
You must have been in college when I had my first love triangle. I had a few love triangles.
Okay. Because I remember.
You could go on the internet and see some steamy stuff.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Because I felt like I remember you with Antonio Vega.
Yes, I was. That was a little later. Antonio came back from the dead.
Right.
And then we got together.
Okay.
I was blind and he was painting. It was a whole thing. The thing that really set me off was the opportunity to work with Michael Easton, who was a huge soap opera star, and the woman who played Natalie, Melissa Archer. And they were just like a destiny couple. He was brought on the show to be with her, and they were tap dancing for a minute, trying to make them interesting. Like you need somebody to make them interesting. Yeah. So they would, in any couple, you need like somebody that's going to be like a foil. Yeah. And so they really were just like, let's just tap dance for a bit before we do them. Yeah. And they put me in a basement with John McBain in a scene, and they decided to make it a love scene just to kind of fill the time. And the director, her name is Danielle, she decided that in the basement there was going to be a working sink. I'm just setting up some soft porn for you, and they gave us a like a love scene, and he's really good at them, and I had never they'd never done anything but let me be. I used to be with RJ on the show. Remember that beautiful actor whose hair was quite like yours? Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, they brought me on to be with him, but they didn't really write for us as they should have, and so they put me in this basement, and we did this love scene, and the people went crazy.
Yes.
And actually crazy. It started off like a kind of a racist tone.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you? Because
he's white, but also the fans of the Natalie character were a little bit like waiting. They were waiting for that to happen, and all of a sudden he's in the basement with this black lawyer, and so they were on the internet. It was before like real social media, but they would go into these chat rooms and they were just complaining.
And they were probably writing letters to Soap Opera Digest.
They were writing letters to Soap Opera Digest, but they were kind of complaining about it. And I think the rest of the world felt like, people that were just not invested in my character at all felt like there was something that felt a little questionable about the tone. And so there's nothing better than being under attack, because it was like this whole audience that I never had rallied for me because they thought people were trying to hurt me and trying to disparage me. And so all of a sudden I got all these fans. All of a sudden people, and you really, your currency on those soap operas were your fan letters. Yeah. And so I got all these fan letters, all these whatever. There were times when I got the most fan letters of everybody on ABC Daytime.
Are you serious?
So it literally was what happened was the opposite of what I thought. And it worked. My character blew up so much that one day the executive producer, Frank Valentini, came into my dressing room and he said, "You're doing so well. We're going to write you a little sister."
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, how did that
happen?
Yes,
it's so funny because that's what you don't have as a black person on those shows.
Yeah,
you never had a family. You never saw where they lived. Yeah. You only showed up at your house to sign your brief.
Yep.
But he said, your character's blowing up. You're doing so well. We decided we're gonna write you a little sister. And I remember smiling, and when he walked out, and I was like, great. So you're going to bring on a younger, prettier version of me as a reward for how well my show's doing. Fantastic! Can it be a little brother?
That's hilarious.
But it was Tika Sumpter.
Yeah.
It was her first big job. She's a superstar, and she's my little sister forever.
Yes.
And it started my sister.
I worked with Tika too.
I know. I can say but it started my whole kind of. Who knew that so many years later I'd be famous for being an older sister?
But I mean, you was a little younger, older sister.
But still, it was a joy to work with her. I love her still, and it's fun to watch her career.
I loved both of y'all. Y'all both were, and her as, a chocolate brown girl that
dark, beautiful skin. I mean, she doesn't look real. She's so beautiful.
She's so beautiful, and she's
so real. She is so real, and then she looks so unreal.
She does. Like, her beauty is like breathtaking. So it was very. So did you want to do soap operas though? Like, is that because I
wanted to do everything?
Okay, because sometimes people look at soap operas as like not the thing to want to do.
Tanya Pinkins, do you know who she is?
Yeah, of course I know who Tanya Pinkins is.
When I was coming up as a younger actor, just kind of no job living in Los Angeles,
she was on All My Children.
I saw her win a Tony for Jelly's Last Jam. And I knew that she was on All My Children. They had a wonderful black storyline on All My Children at the time. Angie, Jesse, all that.
All of them.
I saw her win a Tony, and I knew that she was also on a soap opera. And like I said, I also grew up watching soap operas. And I remember being like, oh, you can do that.
Right.
Like, because I'm from the theater. Like, my dream was always to be in the theater. And I'm like, she just won a Tony for a Broadway show in the theater, and she's on a soap opera. It was, to me, like my brain exploded, right? Because I could never have thought to dream of it, and it wasn't till, like a decade or so later when I realized, I hadn't won. Yeah, I hadn't won a Tony, but I was on One Life to Live. I was down the street from her on another ABC soap, and I was in a Broadway show, which I did end up getting to do double duty in Rent and that.
Yeah, that's what. Okay. It's so much.
And Lion King, actually was in Lion King when I got the job on One Life to Live. Yeah.
Because in the documentary, you talk about doing both. Like you would film one in the day
Yeah.
and then in the earlier part
hard.
of the day. How were you doing that? And I mean, how late does soap operas go?
Exactly. So, well, it's not that soap operas go late. They start early.
Gotcha.
Soap opera is like one of the best jobs in the business because it's the opposite of theater in that it's regular work hours like regular people have.
Gotcha.
So you start at like 5 or 6 in the morning. I mean, earlier than most people because you have to go through hair and makeup. But you start at like 5 or 6 in the morning. But they're out by 6
Gotcha.
p.m.
Gotcha.
And so then you don't work on the weekends. So it's a regular, So that's great. So you start at 4 or 5. And the challenge when you're doing that double duty with Broadway is that Broadway, you literally, I would go, the studio was on 66th Street in Broadway.
Right.
And I would walk down to, I would have to, or take the train down to 42nd Street
Right.
to be in The Lion King or The Wren or whatever. I was doing Color Purple, actually, was a show I did double duty.
How are you learning the dialogue and also learning the music for Lion King, also the choreography? You always are somewhere doing a lot.
It's so funny that you say that because I talk a lot about how hard it was to kind of balance having children and be in the documentary and be on Broadway. And you just made me realize something. The hardest thing, I mean, I think harder than even doing that was the double duty. I think there was a time, I talk about it in the documentary, where I was doing Lion King by day, I was doing Color Purple at night, and I was pregnant. Like an early pregnant. Early pregnant is harder than later pregnant. Yeah. Because early pregnant, when people don't know you're pregnant, your body's actually, trying to make a spleen.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have no energy, you're exhausted. I mean, and also I had a lot of pain because I had fibroids. Like that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And then it ended up, I also talk about this in the documentary, ended up having a miscarriage during that time. Yeah. So that was probably the hardest season of my life. And it's crazy that the hardest season in your life could come at the time where from the outside you are the most blessed.
Yeah, it's always, that feels like that's always the case of like the good and the bad all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you come from a talent family? Like does your mom and your dad sing and everybody, or are you this special gift that just came out of nowhere? Okay.
Everybody's a freak in my family. I come from an incredibly intelligent group of people.
Okay.
My father is a chemist, and he's got, my father has a PhD in chemistry and physics. And a business degree from Stanford University. And, he came from dirt poor nothing in Wilmington, Delaware, the first person ever to go to college. Like, he had nothing. Okay. But he was, he got to go to college on an ROTC scholarship, and it was during the Vietnam War. And he knew that if I don't stay in school, I will be a helicopter pilot and I won't probably survive it. So my dad stayed in school, and his brain helped him to do it. Yeah. And by the time the Vietnam War was over, he had a wife and 2 children and a lot of degrees and letters behind his name. So he's genius. And then my mother, who, was trying to figure out how to have children in her own right and have a career.
So she had that same struggle?
Well, everybody does.
Gotcha.
Everybody does. But she was a wife and a mother in a time where women didn't necessarily work. But my dad will tell you right now, as smart as he is, she was the smart one. She was the one, he said, they met in college that was breaking the curves in math class. Like, that they grade on a curve.
Right.
And they would all have gotten a good grade, except for there's this one little skinny, light-skinned girl in the back who was still getting hundreds on tests that everybody else was failing. So everybody was mad at her because they're like, how are you breaking this curve? And that was my mom. So he just fell in love with her. So so she's even, so my mother, I remember when I was in middle school, my mother was trying to get a PhD in psychology at Rice University in Houston, where I was from. So we would be on the sleep in a computer lab after school till midnight with my mom trying to get this degree. My brother is brilliant. He's an engineer and he also went to Stanford Business School. I have 2 little brothers now. One is in law school. The other one is in medical school. I have nieces one is trying to get a medical degree in Stanford. The other one is currently on tour for the Phantom of the Opera. So I have, and I could go when I start talking about my cousins. Right. Like, we have a lot of very, very freakishly talented people until my little academics, until my niece, my little mini me, who's like 25, came along. I was the only one that was trying to be in the creative space. And I say that jokingly because my father really does believe he's the 6th temptation.
Really?
He is. I grew up in a home with music all the time. We've never had a home, and we've moved a lot growing up, that didn't have a disco in the basement. Any house or apartment we ever lived in, my dad would convert it so that he could put a disco. I'm talking about mirrors, lights, dance floor, and a ball, like stereo system in the basement. So music is in my life and in my home always.
Well, how do you discover that you have this talent, and how do you discover that, because singing, how do you discover singing, and then how did you discover that you also want to act?
Well, I just was, first of all, singing was just that, there was no Spotify.
Gotcha.
There was no streaming music.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to hear, Always and Forever, Heat Wave, Always and Forever.
Baby, I know it was one of my favorite songs.
My favorite songs too. If you wanted to hear it, and you either had to wait for the DJ to play it.
The Quiet Storm.
Or you had to say to your little cousin, Renee, sing Always and Forever. So that's kind of where it started. And it was good for me because I think I'm an incredibly smart person, but I wasn't necessarily invested in schoolwork. So when you come up with a family that's all that's intelligent, it was good for me to have something that I did that was like, that kind of gave me some signature way to stand out in this group of people. So that's when I started singing, but it's really theater and the falling in love with theater when I was 8 years old that changed my life.
Gotcha. That you were in
Guys and Dolls.
Guys and Dolls, okay.
It's just at a theater school called Houston International Theater School in Houston, Texas.
So how did you end up in the theater school?
My mother went to work. My mother was working. My dad was working. And my brother and I were sitting at home. I set my alarm clock to watch All My Children, and that's so trifling because it comes on at noon.
Right.
So it was the summertime.
Right.
We had nothing to do, so I would literally set my alarm clock to be up earlier than my brother so I could fight for the television because he didn't want to watch a soap opera.
Right.
So that I could watch All My Children because I loved soap operas.
Right.
And my mother was like, this is ridiculous. My kids are doing nothing. It's too hot to play outside in Houston in the summertime. So one of her friends had a carpool going to a theater school camp for the summer, and they just put us in the car. That's how my life changed. And the interesting thing is that they only wanted my brother because it was hard to get boys. No one cared if Renee showed up ever. But after every play we ever did, the director of the school, Carolyn Franklin, would call my mother to beg her if she would bring Ryan, my engineer and brother, back so that he could play some of these male roles. And my mother would be like, all right, can Renee come too? So that's why I just had theater in my life always.
Okay, so I find that so funny that you come from such an academic family and that they believe in your gift. Because, most people that come from academic families don't necessarily think to themselves, they should go off and be an actor.
Or even just black families in general, that they would let you grow up and think you were going to be in this business.
Exactly. So where did that come from?
Well, I think in this documentary, they didn't put this in there, but I think my dad has a very funny sense of humor. I think at some point he said, we didn't even know Renee was smart until she was like 24. I think they were just happy that I was going to. I literally would say, if I go to college, I wanted to be in Los Angeles or New York City, and because I just wanted to try. I wanted to do this. I just felt destined to try to have a career, or just I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to tell stories. Honestly, I wanted to make music. I wanted to come together with people and tell stories and make shows in whatever capacity that is. It's just so fun. It's the best thing in the world to do, and I don't know why anybody would ever not want to do it. It's less crazy that I want to do it
because
than
we don't
other
have
people,
the talent.
or that I think at some point for whatever, just by the grace of God, I get to keep doing it.
Yeah,
I get to keep doing it.
Okay, so you've done film, you've done Broadway, you've done television. How do you pick? Like, is there one that you like better than the other?
I think I always love to do the thing I haven't just done. It's fun to kind of mix it up. But
Gotcha.
But they're so different. I would have had a harder time saying theater was my first love because the challenge in theater was that once the show is over, you just missed it. It's like Brigadoon. It's like it's there and then it disappears, and you just have to believe it was great.
Yeah.
And so I loved the idea that you could make a piece of art, like, whether you're recording music or whether you're in a television show or in a film, and that it would live forever. And the chemistry, the magic of what you made could be bottled in a way that you could even watch it yourself.
Yeah.
So while there was no way to replace the live theater and at a live audience and making something in a moment, the fact that those other things had that could last and live kind of edged them up. And the beauty of the world we're living in is that we have figured out how to record live theater in a way that does it justice. That never used to be a thing.
Yeah.
I was in a musical called Rent, and they filmed it. They filmed our last performance on Broadway, and they did it. It's the first time I've ever seen a musical filmed in a way that actually was perfect. Like I had been in the show, and when I watched the movie, I learned things about the show that I didn't even know that I was in.
Because you can never get to see it because you're in the back preparing for where your parts are.
Exactly, and also there's different. The storytelling in film is a lot about editing and camera angles and things. And the director of that movie, first of all, he loved and appreciated. He knew what he was. He watched it for a month before he decided how he was going to shoot it, and he used his elements of storytelling and editing just to amplify the story. So it's amazing. So and obviously we filmed Hamilton.
Yeah.
One of the last things we did before the original company started leaving. Is that we filmed it. It's on Disney Plus. We just got out of the movie theater. And the greatest moment, one of the greatest moments of my life was to sit in the theater with the Rent cast and watch us in the Rent movie, or sit in the theater, which was what we just did about a month ago, with the Hamilton cast and watch us on stage. That was priceless.
Okay, so what do you feel was your big break? What was your first moment that you felt like, I'm about to really be doing this?
Oh, God. I have had so many big breaks that didn't break as big as I thought they would. I did an independent movie called All About You right before I met my husband, right before, Y2K. And everybody was like, and I started. It's like, it was a feature film. I starred in it, a great romantic comedy written and directed by Christine Swanson. I thought I didn't think that. Everybody was like, this is it. We were winning like all the film festivals. After we shot the principal photography, I was a songwriter and a singer at the time. A lot of my music and my friends that were coming up at that time, all of our music went into the movie. Like they thought that was going to be it. And it did really well, but it wasn't. There were a million times I was on Ally McBeal. I was in The Good Wife, that TV show. I was in Rent in the last company, and they filmed us. I had my Broadway debut in The Lion King. I was in the cast, the first cast of The Color Purple. I remember when we stood on stage for opening night. Every single movie star, theater star, mover, shaker in the world was sitting in front of us at the end of that show, weeping, singing along with us, like a blade of like I was just Oprah was my friend. We were on Oprah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember y'all being on Oprah.
Yeah, you would have thought this was it.
Right.
So I had a wonderful and very full. I could have retired in my own heart before Hamilton ever happened to me. And what's so crazy is when Hamilton did happen to me, I had friends that were, would come up to me and be like, "Thank God." Like they had felt sorry for me before. Like, thank God, we thought this was never gonna happen. And I was like, really? Because I thought I was doing pretty good.
With the stuff that didn't happen in my life.
Doing all right. But I people tell you the truth after something. They were like, woo.
But this was so
Hamilton
huge.
is just a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe. I said to somebody. I think I just said to my friend Bridget Yingling. I was like, I cannot believe people are still having me.
Baby, and
do
still talking about
Hamilton. Like, it's 10 years later, and there's 8, 7, 6-year-olds who weren't even alive when it was born.
Can I be honest? Okay, so I remember I was working at The View at the time, and I remember.
Can I just say something else?
Yes.
We have to put a pin in.
Please.
Do you know how many times I've co-hosted The View?
I've seen some of the back
even that you would have thought that I was going to blow up. When I was on One Life to Live, they used to, when they used to have me all the time.
Because y'all were in the same building.
I was the first person after Star left The View. They called me. I was the first person. You know why? We could talk about that later.
No, we could talk.
We could talk about. I just so you know, that's how many times I was like blowing up.
Right.
It was the most watched moment because The View was the biggest. It was the only game in town.
Yeah.
It was the biggest show. Barbara Walters, all of them. I think what happened was there was some there was concern that it was racist, and they were like, "Who's the closest Black person. That's a woman,
Right.
That can come here right now that we can hug on,
Right.
while we find somebody else.
Right. And they love her on One Life to Live, so let's bring her over here.
No, I was literally a block away on One Life to Live. So they literally I was already in makeup.
Right.
They're like, bring Renee over. I think I had already been on it before. So I hosted with Barbara, Meredith, all of them.
Right.
You know, and they were hugging me and holding and shaking my hand.
Did
and
you
asking
think
me
you
questions.
had a chance? Did you
I didn't know. I didn't think about it at the time. I did, but it was a blow up. I mean, you know how many people I've interviewed? I've been in every iteration with Rosie.
And Rosie loves Broadway
Rosie,
and
all
stuff.
of them.
So she
So I've gone through so many phases of even my fertility journey on The View. I remember the jokes that Joy said about fibroids and losing children. And I went through that on The View. Like, I've done so many things. I've interviewed presidents. I've done so many things.
Oh wow!
And it becomes like anything else that is about fame.
Yeah.
Just anecdotal in the end. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it didn't ever necessarily blow me up.
Right.
I remember Brian Franz used to be the head of ABC Daytime, and when the job came, there was a job. One night was up for a job, and my contract was also up on One Life to Live, and they asked me what I wanted to stay, and you know what my answer was?
What?
The Kelly Ripa deal. I was like, can I get the Kelly Ripa deal? Because I would stay on One Life to Live if I could, because there's nothing more fun than going across the street and being on The View. I could just talk like this.
Yep.
And I was up for it, and I did not get it.
Get it.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is a miracle, because I would never have been in
true.
Hamilton.
That's true.
And Sherry Shepherd was amazing.
She was.
But
was Sherry right after that?
it was me and her and a couple other people that were up for it, and she got it.
Oh wow. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, so going back to Hamilton, so that was I remember us sitting there talking about it. I remember Brian, our producer, was like, yo, they're sold out until like forever and all of that stuff. What was that whole ride like? Like I'm watching you in the documentary, and I'm seeing you at the White House. I'm seeing like all the things that you're experiencing. Beyonce's there.
I know.
Like,
Prince.
How are you processing this?
Every day. It's a lot. It's it's hard to process.
You explained it well in the documentary. You called it a runaway train.
It is. It was a runaway train, but I was hanging on. How did I process it? I just I just received it, and I tried to keep up with it, and I don't think about it too much. I really just try to keep showing up where I'm supposed to be in the moment I'm supposed to be there. I don't think you can take yourself too seriously ever and be worth much.
Gotcha.
No matter what's happening or what's going on. I think that's why I look back and I marvel more than I marvel in a moment, because in the moment you're just trying to hit your mark and I start my days now, and I'm like, Lord, help me do no harm.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, because sometimes you're moving so fast that you might disregard someone, say something hurtful. Like for me, I'm just like, help me do no harm.
No, you never do that.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's just, but it could happen. That's the only thing when it is a runaway train and it's going so fast. You just want to appreciate it. And here's the thing, because I had the career I had before, I got to see a lot of people in a phenomenon. I got to be on Ally McBeal. It was the biggest show
loved Ally McBeal
ever. I got to see Callista Flockhart, Lisa Nicole Carson, Lucy Liu, Regina Hall. I got to see Jane Krakowski. I got to see all of these amazing Portia. I become superstars.
Yeah.
They were just great actors.
Yeah.
And they became superstars. And I was sitting right next to them, behind them in the back in the corner, lit a little less well.
No.
But close enough to see what happened in their life. And I always say, like, if you're in this career, it's gonna be like that phrase they say when you're graduating from something, look to your right, look to your left. You know what I mean? Yes. It's either going to happen to you, it's going to happen to this person, it's going to happen to, and that's what I think being in this career is. It might not happen to you, but you will see it.
Especially for Hamilton, though, because y'all produced so many people that went on to do so many amazing things.
But even before that, I have seen people, I got to see, at that time, I got to blow up with people.
Gotcha.
But I've watched many people like this, popcorn meme, blow up.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
But I mean, still
and so
though, that
and the beauty of it is that you get to see it's not the best thing for everybody.
True.
It's hard to do. So I always was taking notes, watching, people that I thought did a really good job of managing the difficulty of it, and people that maybe having a harder time, and just kind of processing it in my head. So it made it a little, I guess I had a bit of a playbook before some of it happened.
It got to you.
To me.
How did you manage after Hamilton ends, not running after what Hamilton was?
Oh,
like,
that's
because
a good
so
question.
many people, when they have that kind of success, they compare their life like, oh well,
This
is the
person's
next
doing
thing
this?
gonna be as big, or
Right.
that whole thing? How
I wrote
did
a
you do
song
that?
about it. It's a nice segue to my album, Who I Really Am. I wrote a song about it. It's called Enough. It really is just that thing, and it's not about necessarily Hamilton, but it is about Hamilton. It's about the idea that we are always feeling like what we're doing is not enough, and it's just like a voracious appetite for ambition. And the thing about ambition is that it's inherent in ambition is dissatisfaction. Like, you have to be a little, like, if you were not, and if you couldn't see what could be better, then you would not be ambitious. Ambition is about, like, no matter what you have, dreaming of something more.
Bigger.
So inherent it is a bit of dissatisfaction. So my prayer has always been, before anyone had hired me to do anything, how can I be ambitious and also be grateful for what I have? And that kind of even translates into even my journey with children and everything. I only want more because what I have, like, if I couldn't feed myself, I wouldn't be thinking about, like, getting this part in a show. If I didn't, like, have this person next to me that I would want to have children with, I wouldn't be sad because I couldn't have children. So you can think about what you don't have, but you have to remember that the only reason why I have the luxury of wanting is because something is actually going well. So how do you balance those two things? And it's hard. And it's the same game that comes when you're trying to manage, how do you leave your hit phenomenon show and move into the rest of your life and watch all of your family cast members blow up in ways that are going to be different from you? How do you manage all of it? And that's a constant conversation in your brain about recognizing that not only do we have enough at all times, we are enough at all times, and there's nothing outside of us that really makes that true or not. And it doesn't matter if it is true if you don't know it's true. And even if you know it's true, you can't. That's not a knowledge that's just going to last. You have to tell yourself that over and over again. Every couple minutes, even though when you figure it out, you're going to have to figure it out again because something's going to happen.
Do you feel like it's purposeful that you got the song Satisfied? Because what you're saying
I
is
love it.
It's this thing that you have to remind yourself to be satisfied.
Absolutely. I think it's not I think God has a tremendous sense
of humor.
And I think to be synonymous with a character, Angelica Schuyler, who's famous for saying, I will never be satisfied. Is great because it makes me have to deal with that real part of who I am, and I think who we all are really, and that is very easily unsatisfied with an embarrassment of riches.
Let me tell you, I was at that City Winery when you performed.
That's my concert I had 2 weeks ago in New York City. He surprised me.
I surprised her because I'm a supporter of my friends.
Oh, yes, you are.
And I love you so much.
I love you too.
But baby, when you got up there to sing that song, them people went off.
Oh, I know.
And it's so amazing to me too, though, because there was a young man that from back home in Virginia that came.
Oh yes,
and he was coming to. No, that's a different one.
Oh,
that's my cut.
I remember your cousin.
This is a little white boy that at the time he was probably 9. He was adopted.
Wow.
He had the whole costume.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But I knew he had never seen Hamilton, and that was not when it was out. It wasn't out. But he had developed all of this just from listening to the soundtrack. It was amazing to me because it wasn't out on video yet, or it wasn't on Disney Plus at that time. So that people that hadn't even seen it were conjuring up their own visions on how it looked, not being able to actually be in the theater, but we're sitting here putting it together. And he knew all of the words, everything. He literally came, and then I think he did go to Hamilton because my friend Brian played George Washington for a little bit.
Okay, good. So he got to see it. He was wonderful in it, by the way.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, for me, what gives me chills about what you just said is I was definitely that kid. I didn't live in New York City. I couldn't go to see these Broadway shows. I fell madly in love. I knew every single lick, every single word of the cast recording of Evita.
Yeah.
I knew every single instrument playing everything of Once on This Island. I knew every single moment of The Wiz. I knew every single you just fall in love with these pieces of art.
Uh-huh.
And even if you can't see them, you know every Nine, the musical Nine. Like I had never seen it. I didn't see it for years, but I knew every single thing from the cast recording. So to be on a cast recording
right.
so that somebody else has that similar experience that like saved my life is unbelievable.
Amazing. So tell us about the songwriting process for your album.
Ooh.
Like, because we just did Kelly Clarkson.
Yes, we did
today,
just Kelly Clarkson together.
And she asked you a
That's why
question.
I have this outfit on.
Yes.
What did she ask me about that?
But y'all were talking about like the process of finding the lane of whether or not it's gonna be R&B, if it's more Broadway,
if it's
what
going
is
to be more folk music, is it going to be poppy?
Yes.
Is it going to be, that's always been my challenge. I've been trying to, be in the recording space, since way before I actually had even
because
a
I
Broadway
remember
debut.
you was on The View talking about your album.
I did, yeah. I had an album back then.
Yeah, see, it wasn't your first. This ain't your first
not my
ride
first
at the rodeo.
Yes. But the challenge has always been like the record companies have always been like, well, who are you?
Right.
What are you neo soul? What are you? And
right.
And I could that's as a theater singer, you can sing anything, you love everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pick a lane. R&B, I mean, clearly I grew up with it. I love it. Rap, I grew up with it. I love it. How do you pick?
Right.
And so that was my challenge in the writing process of it, is feeling like I was dealing with that same monster in the room. And that was, which one do you want to be? And it feels inauthentic to me, as authentic as it is to sing an R&B song, because I grew up
on R&B
on it. I mean, I learned how to sing doing it. I grew up with it.
Right.
That's what I was. I was the radio in my house.
Right.
But it feels inauthentic to put out an album for me that is only R&B music. As many other forms of expression that I also grew up listening to REO Speedwagon.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I also grew up listening to Joni Mitchell. I also grew up listening to Renee Fleming. I grew up listening to so many different kinds of music, and so I needed to give myself license to put out an album that was most authentic, and that means that it does include some different genres on there. There's a pop song. There's a song from Hamilton, Satisfied remade. There's a R&B
give me 3 of your favorite songs on the album.
On my own album? That's like asking me to pick between my perfect children.
I know, but there are certain songs that you just like. If somebody said, what 3 songs best describe who Renee is, what would that be?
Well, I think the song Who I Really Am probably best describes who she is, clearly it's called Who I Really Am. But definitely not my.
You could sum it up in that one song.
Yeah, but it's a perfect intro to me and to something I believe, but not necessarily my favorite song on the album.
Oh, okay.
God, it changes.
Gotcha.
I love the song Smiling. It's this great little, it reminds me of what's her name? I love your smile.
Oh yes,
Shanice.
Yes.
It reminds me of that, of loving her singing that song and the joy of it. This song called Smiling, I love so much, and it's just a great, happy, light R&B song. I have a disco kind of song called Skate Song, and I just wanted a song that I could envision some beautiful man in like super short, biker shorts and roller skates, and that only wearing that. Yes. Just kind of, just rolling through Central Park with like some headphones on, singing that song. I have a song about a heartbreak called I Met Someone, and it's about me actually imposing the heartbreak that I love so much. I have another song, and might be one of my favorites.
Okay.
And it's the song I was not going to put on the album because it's really like a coffee house kind of singer-songwriter, tell a story song. It's about one night in college when I got my heart broken.
Yes, I remember that.
I love that song. song,
Yes.
and I knew that when I wrote it, no one would ever hear it because it's just too. I'm not
Right.
gonna make an album of this.
Right.
But I put it on,
Right.
and I love it. And some of my friends are like, "Girl, if you had not put this song on this album,"
I would have been upset.
and yeah, so it's hard. I'm not doing a good job, limiting the number of things. I love that song enough.
No, but that just goes to show how much passion you have for all the art
Can
that you put into it.
I also have songs I didn't get to put on the album that I love.
Will you be putting out a second one?
I'm trying to figure it out. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Look, if you already got it, you might as well go ahead and package it and get ready to put it out so it already just flows.
Round 2.
Round 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your latest project you have on Netflix. You're doing a movie. Remind me the name again.
It's called A House of Dynamite.
House of Dynamite.
Yeah.
Who's all in this and who are you? Your co-star is someone really hard to like. No one really cares about.
It was really a difficult decision on whether or not I would be a part of this film when I heard that Idris Elba
What's gonna be?
would be my husband in this movie. It's an ensemble cast, and it's a wonderful ensemble cast. We have Moses Ingram, we have Greta Lee, we have Tracy Letts, we have Anthony Ramos, we have
Yes.
Idris Elba, we have it's a very long list of a lot of really, really wonderful actors. The movie is about a scenario where a missile is launched towards the United States. We don't know where it came from.
Okay.
And this a very truncated time period, which is real, where the missile is identified and they have to, all of the things they have to do to figure out how to respond to the attack.
Okay.
And it's about all of the different groups of people whose job it is every single day to respond.
Right.
To protect
the people
us.
that you don't think about.
The people that we don't even know that they, and that's all they do every single day is do tests and tests and practice and practice and practice and practice. And they're just on a regular day practicing for the unthinkable, and it actually happens, and watching them in that scenario. And we get to see it. It happens with one group of people, it happens with another, and at the end you see it in at the executive branch with the President of the United States and me. I play the First Lady. I'm out on safari in Africa, north of Nairobi, Kenya, which was also a difficult reason for
Very
me
much
to have
so.
to leave home to do this movie. But yeah, it's an incredibly powerful and important movie.
Yeah.
It's directed by Catherine Bigelow,
Yes.
who is the first woman to win an Oscar for directing a movie called The Hurt Locker.
Which I'm sure you all have heard of.
She is, oh my God, that's actually the reason why I ran to the job, is
Yeah.
because of the opportunity to work with Catherine Bigelow.
Yes.
And this is another one in, I guess, what they call a trilogy of her war thrillers.
Thrillers.
And it's on Netflix.
Are you a war thriller girl? Were you
I'm
one
like
before?
everything. Like
Really?
I like my music. I like my music. Like I like my movies. I love a war. I honestly, what I love is a good story. I love a good storyteller and a good story. And
Gotcha.
this is a cautionary tale, and it hits very close to home. No pun intended.
Yeah, right.
And,
Especially in this time we're in now.
this time that we're in now, it's really important, I think, that we are aware that we are a house of dynamite, and more ways
Great
than
name
one.
for it, now that you think
Yeah,
about it.
and we need to figure out, I think the movie helps us appreciate not only the people who are protecting the house of dynamite, but also the house itself.
Yeah.
And how responsible are we that there is so much dynamite in it? How crazy.
And how careful we have to be not to set it off, right?
Oh, and how impossible
Yeah.
that caretaking
Yeah.
is.
Okay, I would be remiss if I don't bring up this though. Girls Five Ever.
Oh, thank you. My joy is
How-
Girls Five Ever.
Much to that character is Renee.
Oh my gosh. Well, so the truth that people talk a lot about actors playing roles, and like, oh, he just plays himself.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's the whole game.
Yeah.
The whole game, what we are as human beings is, universally the same, regardless of, how old, what race, what anything. We are all the same. And I think an actor knows that. And you can always find the part of you that is a character, even if she is the most narcissistic,
Found some redeeming quality
messy,
in her.
crazy
Yes,
woman in the
which she
whole wide
was.
world, which Wiki Roy, the character I got to play, is. And some people might think that is as far from me as possible.
Yeah.
But it ain't.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, I think it really isn't. I think what was interesting in playing that character is that I just think all of my very selfish, narcissistic impulses, I just deaden them. I always say, don't do that, don't think that. That's what I do. And playing the character allowed me to just let it go, girl. Let it go. Anything obnoxious or kind of egotistical I would think of just made the character more delicious.
Right.
It was good. It was good for me to get to play her, not only because it allowed me to do that, but most importantly because it's crazy how life imitates art. Wiki Roy, my character in the 3rd season, was putting out an album with her group, Girls Five Eva, that they were writing and producing on their own, and she had a documentary.
So it is going
you see
very
what I'm
much.
saying?
Yes.
So I don't know how
Life
that
is-
happens.
But constantly, the art that you working with, Satisfied in Hamilton, everything, it always sort of
all happen at
correlates
the
with
same
your
time.
life.
And that's, I think, divine because what was beautiful about the show was working with Sarah Bareilles, Paula Pell, Busy Phillips in that capacity. Meredith Scardino was the genius writer behind it. The ability to play a woman who is that ambitious at that age was just a miracle. And I needed to do that because sometimes I'd be like, what are you doing?
Right.
Why are you trying to do these things? It's too late.
Yeah.
And playing that character made me realize, don't believe that lie.
It's never too late.
Don't apologize for being ambitious.
Yes. Okay. So one of the questions that I normally ask everyone that is on my show is, what do they find beauty in? What does Renee Elise Goldsberry find beauty in?
I find beauty in my family. I find beauty in my husband and how, sacrificially he loves and takes care of us. I find beauty in my children and their weathering their mother. Their, how good they are at loving me.
They are beautiful
it's a very unique. Everybody's mother-child situation is unique, but I'm a very unique mother, and their love and care and their ability to accept me is so gorgeous. And I also, every year I get older, find so much strength in this.
Yeah.
In my relationships with the people that I see that are doing awesome things like this.
Aww,
I'm so inspired by you and what you're doing. I love, love, love. I just feel like when I see my friends who are so talented and so important do really big things I know because of this that you are at home thinking, Lord, what can I do with my gifts that you've given me? What can you put me in the situation? You gave me this experience. You gave me these friendships. You gave me these relationships. You gave me these interests and this talent. What can I do with them for the world? When I see you do that, it encourages me to do it as well. And I find it so beautiful.
Thank you.
So
I
that
appreciate
is definitely the beauty.
Thank you.
The beauty behind the scenes.
Okay, that's supposed to be my last question, but I had forgotten my other question.
Did it.
We did it, but I do have one more. What made you decide to be so vulnerable in the documentary? What made you decide to just share so much with the fertility journey? Just so much. What made you just throw it all out? Like, okay, I'll say something, but you go ahead and finish.
You go first.
Well, I was just going to say, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm just thinking about the Bible verse where the Bible says, we are living epistles being read by men, that some people that'll never read the Bible, they'll read your life and your faith.
Ooh, I love that.
And that your faith, because,
yes.
will be what people will sometimes follow. So,
I just, that's actually the theme of that song, Who I Really Am. It's really just about, our true value is not like, oh, I won a Tony. Like, you could figure out if somebody's like, if somebody calls your name in that moment somehow, I think you'll figure out how to walk up there and say something.
Right.
I think our true value is what we survive.
Yeah.
The things that are harder, just to know, like, I survived this and you can. Because we're all going to go through stuff, and Lord knows what I went through is doesn't hold a candle to what so many other people went through or are going through. But we tell our stories so that we can be the light in the dark place. Yeah. We can say, I was in that dark place and this is how I walk through, and hey guys, this way, this is, or just keep going or whatever. Or to people that are going into that season of their life as I go out of it, know that you can risk. Yeah. You can ask. You are allowed to ask for a career and a family.
Yeah.
you're allowed to want to do both of those things, and you're allowed to try. Like, so that's not hard.
Yeah.
That's really just probably the easiest way to say it. Crossed my mind recently is there's no better way to say thank you for the miracle of my life.
Yeah.
You know, to the God who gave me the miracle of my life, than to say I'll share it here. You know, this is what happened. This is what he brought me through. This is what God can build in the place of what seems lost.
Going back to art and the song in Hamilton, who lives, who dies, who tells your story.
Exactly.
And you got to tell your story.
I did.
Thank you so much, Renee.
Thank you.
I love you so much. And thank you. Where can they find you? Tell them everything.
You can see A House of Dynamite on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a little teary here because I love my friend. You can get my music, Who I Really Am, anywhere music streams, and the documentary Satisfied on November 4th. I don't know when this is coming out.
Next week. So
okay. On November 4th, it will be on demand, I believe, at Apple, Amazon, Fandango at home.
Wherever stuff is streamed.
Go see it.
Go Google it and it'll tell you where it's at.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, all the things.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Bye.
Behind the scenes.